Your presence carries a power that often goes unrecognized, not because it lacks value, but because those who benefit from it sometimes fail to acknowledge its significance. You see, many people will only realize what you bring to their lives when it's no longer there. Your time, your energy, your kindness, your support, these are not just commodities to be given freely without thought. They are treasures, and treasures must be protected. The world is full of people who take for granted what they assume will always be available. Your presence, however, is not guaranteed, and when you learn the importance of withholding it from those who do not honor it, you begin to walk in a newfound power. When you are in someone's life, you create an atmosphere. Whether you realize it or not, you contribute to their peace, their joy, their inspiration. You bring light into their dark moments, solutions to their problems, and encouragement to their discouragement. Yet there are some who will treat your contributions as though they are old. They grow comfortable, complacent, and sometimes even dismissive. They stop appreciating what you offer because they have never experienced life without it. And herein lies the challenge. How do you make someone see the value of something they've never had to live without? Sometimes the answer is silence. Sometimes the answer is absence. When you step away, you create a void that forces people to confront the truth of your worth. They suddenly realize that the laughter that filled the room was yours. The advice that guided them was yours. The strength that held them up in their weak moments was yours. Your absence is like removing the sun from a sky that others assume would always be bright. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself giving and giving only to feel drained because the people around you never reciprocate? How many times have you been the one reaching out, checking in, offering help, while others barely notice your efforts? The truth is, some people will only understand your importance when it is no longer there for them to take advantage of. And that's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. When you begin to protect your presence, you're not being selfish, you're being wise. You're recognizing that your energy is finite and must be preserved for those who truly value it. You see, there are people who will cherish every moment you give them, who will honor your time, and who will uplift you in return. Those are the people who deserve your presence. But for the ones who only call when they need something, who take you for granted, who dismiss your boundaries, your absence becomes their greatest teacher. Now, this is not about revenge. This is not about playing games or being petty. It's about understanding your worth and refusing to let anyone diminish it. When you step back, you're sending a clear message: I am not here to be used. I am here to be valued. Your absence allows others to feel the weight of your presence. It forces them to take inventory of what they've lost, and in doing so, to recognize what they failed to appreciate. Sometimes we stay in people's lives out of guilt or obligation, thinking we're doing the right thing by always being available. But let me tell you this, your constant availability can breed disrespect. When people believe they can call on you at any moment, and you will drop everything to meet their needs, they start to see you as a resource rather than a person. They begin to expect your presence without earning it. And that is a disservice not only to you, but to them. Your presence is a gift, and like any gift, it must be given intentionally. When you withhold it from those who don't appreciate it, you're not just teaching them a lesson, you're also freeing yourself. You're creating space for relationships and opportunities that align with your value. You're making room for the people who will meet you halfway, who will pour into you as you pour into them. There's a quiet strength in stepping back. It takes courage to say, I will no longer allow my presence to be taken for granted. But when you do, you unlock a new level of self-respect and self-awareness. You begin to see yourself not as someone who is lucky to be invited into others' lives, but as someone who chooses where and how to invest their energy. And here's the beautiful part: when you remove yourself, those who truly care will notice. They will seek to understand, to apologize, to do better. And those who don't, they were never meant to walk with you on this journey. Either way, your absence speaks louder than words. It becomes a mirror that reflects the true nature of those around you. So remember this: your presence is powerful, but so is your absence. Use both wisely. Protecting your peace is not a selfish act, it is a necessary discipline. In a world that constantly pulls you in every direction, where demands are endless and distractions abound, guarding your peace becomes an act of self-preservation. Too often we allow our peace to be disrupted by situations, people, and environments that do not serve us. But let me remind you of this: peace is priceless. It is the foundation upon which a fulfilled life is built. Without it, no amount of success, material gain, or external validation can truly satisfy you. Your peace is not just about silence or the absence of conflict. It's about a state of inner harmony that allows you to move through life with clarity, strength, and purpose. Yet this peace is fragile. It can be disrupted by toxic relationships, constant negativity, and overextending yourself for others who don't value your efforts. Every time you allow someone to invade your peace without accountability, you give away a piece of your power. And let me tell you something: your power is too precious to be squandered on those who do not appreciate it. There will always be people who demand your time and energy, but not everyone who demands it deserves it. Some people carry chaos wherever they go, and if you're not careful, they will plant seeds of that chaos in your life. These individuals may come disguised as friends, family, or coworkers, but their presence leaves you feeling drained, anxious, or unworthy. It's important to recognize these patterns and make a conscious decision to step away. Protecting your peace is not about cutting people off in anger. It's about prioritizing your well-being above their expectations. The truth is, you cannot pour from an empty cup. When you constantly give without replenishing yourself, you run the risk of burnout. And let me say this: burnout isn't just physical exhaustion, it's emotional and spiritual depletion. It's the weight you feel when you've given too much and received too little. Protecting your peace means setting boundaries that allow you to rest, recharge, and restore your soul. It means learning to say no without guilt and understanding that no is a complete sentence. Boundaries are essential for maintaining peace, but they are often met with resistance. People who have benefited from your lack of boundaries will not welcome your newfound resolve. They may accuse you of being selfish, unkind, or ungrateful. But hear this: their reaction is not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of their inability to respect your limits. Protecting your peace requires courage because it often means standing firm in the face of criticism. Yet the reward is worth the effort. When you enforce your boundaries, you create a safe space for yourself to thrive. There is a misconception that protecting your peace means avoiding all challenges or conflicts. That's not true. Life will always have its share of difficulties, and growth often requires discomfort. But there is a difference between facing challenges that strengthen you and tolerating situations that weaken you. Protecting your peace means discerning the difference. It means choosing battles that align with your purpose and walking away from those that only drain your energy. Sometimes protecting your peace requires solitude. It requires stepping back from the noise and chaos of the world to reconnect with yourself. Solitude is not loneliness, it is the act of being present with your own thoughts, feelings, and desires. It is in these quiet moments that you can hear the whispers of your soul and the guidance of God. Do not fear being alone, fear being surrounded by people who make you feel alone. Solitude is a sanctuary where your peace can be nurtured and strengthened. Protecting your peace also means being intentional about the environments you allow yourself to inhabit. Not every space is meant for you. Some environments are filled with negativity, gossip, and strife, and no matter how much light you bring, the darkness will persist. It's not your job to fix these spaces or to force yourself to adapt to them. Your responsibility is to seek out environments that align with your values and uplift your spirit. Finally, protecting your peace means trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, your boundaries, and your decisions. It means letting go of the need for external validation and finding contentment within. When you trust yourself, you no longer feel the need to explain your choices to others or seek their approval. You become confident in your ability to discern what is right for you, and that confidence becomes a shield for your peace. Peace is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the foundation of your strength, clarity, and joy. So protect it fiercely. Guard it as the treasure it is. Because when your peace is intact, you can face life with resilience, grace, and purpose. And that, my friend, is a life worth living. Absence has a way of revealing truths that presence often conceals. When you are consistently present, it is easy for others to overlook your contributions, to take for granted the energy and value you bring to their lives. Familiarity, as the saying goes, can breed complacency. People begin to assume that your kindness, your support, and your care will always be available, as if they are a permanent fixture rather than a deliberate offering. But when you step away, when your absence creates a void, it forces others to confront the reality of what your presence meant to them. Your absence is a mirror reflecting the true worth of your contributions. When you're no longer there to carry the weight of someone's burdens, to provide solutions to their problems, or to bring light to their darkness, they are left to navigate life without the gifts you once provided. It is in this absence that people begin to understand just how much you mattered. The laughter you brought, the wisdom you shared, the love you poured out, it all becomes unmistakable in its absence. Often we hesitate to create distance because we fear being misunderstood or labeled as cold or unkind. But there is a difference between abandoning people and stepping back to honor your own value. When you've given all you can, when your efforts are met with indifference or entitlement, it is not only appropriate, but necessary to withdraw. This is not an act of punishment. It is an act of self-preservation. Your energy is not infinite, and if it is constantly depleted without being replenished, you will find yourself running on empty. Absence has a way of clarifying priorities, both for you and for those around you. For the person who truly values you, your absence will ignite a realization of how much you mean to them. It will stir a desire to do better, to appreciate you, and to nurture the relationship. For the person who does not value you, your absence will not elicit much response. And that is an answer in itself. It reveals where you truly stand in their lives and frees you from the illusion that your efforts were equally reciprocated. There's a lesson in this for all of us. Being constantly available is not a measure of love or loyalty. It is possible to give so much of yourself that others begin to view your generosity as an entitlement rather than a gift. When you are always present, you may unintentionally teach people that you will always be there no matter how they treat you. Stepping away disrupts this dynamic. It redefines the boundaries of respect and mutual appreciation, reminding others that your presence is a choice, not a guarantee. Sometimes we can feel insecure that others aren't going to understand, but we must respectfully. In relationships, whether personal or professional, absence often becomes a litmus test for respect and value. Consider the times you stepped away from a situation or a person. How did they respond? Did they respond? Did they reach out with concern and a willingness to bridge the gap? Or did they simply let the connection fade, showing you that their commitment was conditional on your effort alone? These moments of absence speak volumes about the depth and sincerity of the relationships in your life. Stepping back is also a powerful tool for self-discovery. It allows you to evaluate how you feel without the constant noise of others' expectations. When you remove yourself from a situation, you can better understand your own emotions, needs, and desires. Absence creates space for reflection, and in that space, you gain clarity about what you truly value and what aligns with your sense of purpose. Absence also cultivates gratitude. For those who value your presence, your stepping away reminds them to appreciate what they may have taken for granted. But more importantly, it allows you to appreciate yourself. It's easy to overlook your own worth when you're constantly pouring into others. But in the stillness of absence, you begin to see yourself more clearly. You recognize the impact you've had and the light you bring. This is not about playing games or manipulating others into appreciating you. It is about establishing balance and mutual respect. It is about understanding that you are not obligated to stay in spaces where your worth is overlooked. Absence reveals true value, not only to others, but also to yourself. So do not be afraid to step away when necessary. Let your absence speak for you. Let it teach others what your words could not. And in that absence, allow yourself to rediscover your own value, your own strength, and your own worth. Absence is not an act of rejection. It is a declaration of self-respect. It is a reminder that your presence is a gift, one that should be cherished and never taken for granted. Growth is a process that often requires separation. It's a concept that can feel uncomfortable, even painful, because we are naturally drawn to familiarity and connection. Yet the truth is, not everything or everyone in your life is meant to accompany you on your journey of growth. Separation is not an act of rejection, but rather a necessary step toward becoming who you are meant to be. Like a seed that must be planted in the right soil and given space to sprout, your growth demands an environment that nurtures and supports you. Consider the seed buried in the dark earth, far from the surface. It might seem like an act of isolation, but that separation is essential. The seed cannot grow when it is exposed to harsh conditions or if it remains among thorns that choke its potential. Similarly, there are seasons in life when you must separate yourself from situations, habits, and even people that hinder your progress. This is not an easy decision, but it is a necessary one if you are to flourish. Not every relationship or environment is designed to sustain your growth. Some people and spaces may feel comfortable because they're familiar, but comfort is not always conducive to growth. Comfort can keep you stagnant, tethered to a version of yourself that no longer serves your purpose. Growth requires that you step out of your comfort zone and into the unknown, where challenges refine you and opportunities expand your perspective. This often means separating from what is holding you back, even if it feels like a loss in a moment. Separation is not always about conflict or negativity. Sometimes it's simply about alignment. As you grow, your values, priorities, and vision for your life evolve. What once fit perfectly may now feel out of place. You may find yourself in relationships or situations that no longer resonate with your purpose. This doesn't mean those things were bad or wrong. It simply means you've outgrown them. And that's okay. Growth is not a betrayal of your past. It's a testament to your journey. There is power in recognizing when it's time to move on. Staying in spaces that no longer nurture you can lead to frustration, resentment, and a sense of unfulfillment. But when you choose to separate, you open the door to new opportunities and relationships that align with your growth. It's like pruning a plant. Cutting away the dead or overgrown parts allows the plant to thrive. Similarly, letting go of what no longer serves you creates room for new life to flourish. Separation also fosters independence and self-discovery. When you step away from certain influences, you begin to hear your own voice more clearly. You gain a deeper understanding of who you are and what you want. It's in the solitude of separation that you find clarity and strength. You learn to trust yourself, to stand firm in your decisions, and to navigate life with confidence. Separation, though difficult, is often the catalyst for personal transformation. However, separation doesn't mean abandonment or burning bridges. It doesn't mean you have to sever ties in anger or bitterness. It's possible to honor the role that people or situations played in your life while still choosing to move forward. Gratitude for the past and hope for the future can coexist. Separation is not about rejecting others. It's about embracing your growth. Sometimes the most challenging part of separation is dealing with the reactions of others. People who are used to you being a certain way may resist your growth. They may try to pull you back into old patterns or guilt you into staying where you are. But remember this, your growth is not about their comfort. It's about fulfilling your potential and living in alignment with your purpose. Those who truly care about you will understand and support your journey, even if it means you need to create some distance. Separation can also mean letting go of internal barriers. Fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs are often the most significant obstacles to growth. To move forward, you must separate yourself from the narratives that keep you small. You must confront the inner voices that tell you you're not enough or that change is too hard. Growth requires that you break free from these chains and step boldly into the life you were meant to live. Ultimately, growth through separation is an act of faith. It's trusting that what lies ahead is greater than what you're leaving behind. It's believing that your journey has purpose even when the path is unclear. And it's knowing that every step you take, even the hard ones, is leading you closer to the person you are destined to become. So don't fear separation. Embrace it as a necessary part of your evolution. Trust that the discomfort of today will give way to the joy and fulfillment of tomorrow. Let go of what no longer serves you and step boldly into the life that awaits. Growth requires separation, but it also promises transformation. And that transformation is worth every step.